This is episode 5 of my 1000 day series. I've really been enjoying doing these videos and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching as well. So yeah, let's get to it. So on the last video, we built pretty much everything here. Well, not everything, but a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit tired of this place. So we're gonna go back to exploring other towns. But before we do that, I need to gather all of the logs we got on the last episode. And it's gonna take a while. For me at least. And while I was doing that, a heli crashed somewhere in the forest. And when I went to check it out, I got a scratch on my shin. But now that we're done with that, I immediately started organizing everything we need to just go somewhere else. So I got the van and the sports car and just basically everything we might need short term. Now just let me turn off all of the generators so we don't have any surprises. Fuel up the cars and start moving. The place I'm going next is not very far, but I took a wrong turn somewhere and had to do a little detour through the country roads, which have a lot of car events, including a few 100% ambulance, and this police Mustang at 80%. I didn't get to where I wanted in time, so I'm gonna sleep on the road today, just so we don't have to fight any zombies at night. If you play Zomboid for a while, you probably know this place. This is the crossroads between West Point and Moldra, and I won't tell you just yet which city we're going to, because before we go anywhere, this place needs a cleanup. So I spent the whole day doing that. There are a lot of cars here, but none with 100 engine quality. By the end of the day, I got back in the ambulance because I don't think it's safe to sleep here. The first place I want to go to is actually Dixie, which is a trailer park. But to get there, we're gonna have to go through some Zeds. I found 2 katanas today and already started slicing zombies with them. I think this part of the highway is done. Now we can start clearing Dixie. Just look at this beautiful line of zombies. So on the next day, I headed out straight to Dixie, and even with an alarm, not that many zombies showed up. Actually, there were more coming from the highway than from Dixie itself. So I took a little tour around the trailer park and chose a random place to sleep in. And now it's time to go to Moldra. This is probably my favorite vanilla town outside of Louisville, just cause it has a good number of zombies and nice loot as well. So I spent the whole day going back and forth the main street all the way to the warehouse, cause that's where I wanna base at. See, this is what I'm talking about. A really good number of zombies, just like on the edge of town. This episode's gonna be fun. There are so many that I almost didn't see this katana. It's gonna be a while before we get our car back. Actually, we got it back this morning, but there's still a large number of zombies here. And because of all the decomposing bodies we're walking on top of for the whole day, we're getting queasy way too fast. I need to find a mask ASAP. Did a bunch more of the same thing the next day, and I really don't want this to be like the Raven Creek episode, where all we did was clear everything as fast as possible. So this time I'm gonna try and find a nice balance between the zombie slaughter, base building, looting, and everything else. So after we clear this big wall of zombies around the car, I'm gonna start setting up our base. After I did that, I then just hit the horn a few times to see if there are any zombies close to the warehouse, and a lot more showed up. My game even crashed again, so I have to play the whole day for a second time. But now I'm just gonna start setting up our base. I got a bunch of sheet ropes to place them on the warehouse, and then I went to the restaurant next to us that has an apartment on the second floor, and this actually looks more like a base. So we're moving here. I'm desperately in need of spears. I've been using the machetes we brought with us, but they're almost done. So I chopped down some trees and made a few of them. I found one more katana today, and I also decided to bring the sports car over to the new base, just to make sure this place is as clear as possible. And now we're a bit safer than before. There was a very dense fog the next day, so I kinda just waited for it to go away. And then I went over to the storage units and found a generator there. It's not gonna change much for us now, but at least we got light in our place. I think tomorrow I'll do some work on this lake so we can fish safely, because I really don't want to live off of canned food for God knows how long. And it really took me some time to figure out how to do this. I don't know what's wrong, but I thought you could build in water. Well, since that didn't work, I built a little safe box on the shore. It's not my greatest work, but it's functional. The next day I went out looking for zombies on the streets close to us, and nothing. Well, not really. I think these guys were stuck on the fence or something. When I was almost done with them, the game bugged and I got a laceration. I literally killed a zombie on the floor with a normal attack when there was a zombie standing right in front of me. Let's hope for the best. All I can do now is fish and wait. Since it's a right arm injury, my attack speed is really slow, so I really can't go fight zombies. And basically anywhere we go there are a few stragglers. So I guess we'll drink and sleep all day. And on the next day, we were as good as new. Bro, this city is awesome. Just look at this. To be fair, this is the most populated area of Moldra. This is gonna be fun. I had to stop to go fishing because of the time, and it looks like our little box worked. I did the exact same thing the next day, but this time I managed to turn off the car. And they just won't stop coming. Today I leveled up to Nimble 7. And found another katana. We're still fighting the same place for 3 days now. I found 2 more katanas today. And every time I think I'm done, I move the car just a few feet and a bunch more show up. I leveled up to fishing 6, which means we'll be able to fish in the winter time and actually catch something. The next morning I built water barrels and connected it to the kitchen sink. Then when I was going back to the sports car, I saw that the zombies were starting to disappear, and that reminded me. I want to try and max out electric in this episode, and it's probably one of the most useless and time consuming skills to level up, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So when I'm finished with the zombies in this area, we're gonna start working on that. I cleared a bunch more today, but it's still not over. I wanna see if I can get all of the skill books here in Moldra, cause I'm missing a bunch back home. So I built these bookshelves, and once we go looting, we can place them here. The rest of the day was just more of the same, but tomorrow we're gonna go to metal watches. I got the first level really fast. Then I went back home to read the next book and out again to dismantle more watches. I took a quick look around the more residential area, and I think I'm gonna clear this part of the map before going back to the main road. So I cleared the zombies on the sports car, found another katana, and then started going east. There's not as many zombies as on the main street, but it's still a good number. Did the same thing again the next day. Then I moved the car to another street a few blocks north. I moved the car again, and this time to Bob and Kate Street. And I actually stopped by their house once I was done clearing everything, and Bob gave me a laceration. To be honest, that was really stupid of me. While we wait to see what happens, I went out to dismantle more watches. It looks like we're okay, so let's kill some zombies. I went back to the main road and found a bunch of them there. I basically spent the whole day just clearing this one big group. And again the next day. I think I'll keep going forward until I get to the bookstore. Then from there you can start clearing the residential area. And I got one more katana. But now finally, after 7 days just going down this road, I cleared the zombies in front of the bookstore. And I had to bring the sports car back and actually left it in the gas station because it's almost empty by now. I just need to bring the generator over. So I got the Jenny and refueled the cars. Then I went over to the bookstore and I found almost every skill book there. So I got it all back to base and placed them on the bookshelves. And since I need to read the next fishing book, I just stayed there for the rest of the day. But now let's go back to the killing part. I found one more katana today and this US storage truck with 100% engine quality right in front of a US storage. I drove the sports car over to the gated community and there were a few more zombies than I thought it would. So I ended up having to abandon the car there. Look at these two big boys I caught in the morning. After I was done fishing, I went over to the sports car to try and take it back. And it took a while, but I got it. Then I had to leave it again. That's okay. I was going down the main road again, and I saw that the bodies were starting to disappear. So I decided to spend the day just dismantling watches. And I got one more level in electric. I got the sports car back the next day, and after driving around for a while, it looks like we're almost done with Modra. Of course I'm still gonna loot some of the POIs and stuff, but the big part is almost done. I drove around some more the next day, and all I found was like small groups of zombies. Also went to a couple of storage units and got another generator. I was going out again the next day when I hit the van on a tree and got a scratch on my right hand. I guess we're gonna sleep some more. And the only good thing about having first aid maxed out is this. Only a few hours and we're back to full speed. So early in the morning I headed out to the 3 big warehouses west of Modra. And I really thought it would be full of zombies here, but it looks like we attracted all of them when we got to the city. This place is gonna be essential when we decided to finish the work on our main base. I went back there the next day to get one of the trucks and a trailer, but it turns out they're both out of battery, and none of the vehicles on the parking lot have one. So I ended up just towing this one truck back to base, and when we do find a battery, we can just go back there and get the trailer. Now that we're almost done with Modra, I want to go to a place I've never been before. But first I need to gas up the car. The place I'm going next is March Ridge, and I've never had the interest to go there because there's nothing really special about it. It's just a place with more zombies than it should have. And for the looks of things, it has way more than it should. I leveled up to Longblade 7 here. And it took me the whole day to just clear the entrance. I had a stretcher in the back of the van, so I placed it in the toll booth and slept there. The next day I almost got into March Ridge itself, but the population here is just insane. I mean, look at this. It's not normal. After 3 days I managed to get all the way to the end of this street, but I'm not done with the zombies yet. Fighting in this rain is horrible, by the way. I can barely see. I decided to go back to Moldra tonight, just so I can get more supplies, cause I'm literally on my last spear. And I got there before midnight, ate some fish and went to bed. I cut down a bunch of trees and I just now realized that I don't have hunting knives here. All I have is a kitchen knife that only made a few spears. But I'm bringing the axe with me this time, so we'll be able to craft them there. I didn't want to go back in the middle of the day just to get there at night, so I slept here today. I woke up the next day and it looks like winter is almost here again. So I stopped at a store to get a few things, and when I was going back to March Ridge, I realized I forgot to bring food. But now we're good. Before I go back to fighting zombies, I want to dismantle all of the watches here before they disappear. So I just did that for the rest of the day. Today I think we got all of the zombies that could hear us from the street. So now I'm just gonna dismantle the rest of the watches and then move on to the next part of town. And that's exactly what I did. I finally got to level 10 electric. Now we are too short of maxing out all of the crafting skills. Then I continued going forward on that same street, and just look at this. Why this place has so many zombies, I seriously don't know. Did a bunch more of the same the next day. Let's not talk about it. Now all I'm gonna do is basically move the car and clear all of the zombies that show up until we have this place completely free of zombies. By the end of the day, I brought the sports car back so we could get the van out of there. Well, but I'm still gonna have to do some trips to Moldra every once in a while, just so I can maintain my weight. It really looks like we're gonna be here for a while, so I'm gonna let some of this play out for you guys. Had to stop for a while just to craft some spears. Back to Modra. And back to Martridge. Since there's a dense fog out, I just spent the day going through the places we've cleared already. There are a lot of zombies in this really tight space. We're getting really close to the edge of town now, but that still doesn't mean there are no zombies left. Maybe a couple more days and we're done. After moving the car and just killing the zombies that show up a few times, it looks like we're pretty much done now. Of course there's still gonna be stragglers somewhere, but like the main part is done. Now I'm just gonna drive around and mark down the cars I find, and then we can go do something else. And it looks like we're all done here in Martridge. It's not a terrible place, but not a great one either. I mean, you're not missing much if you've never been to, but it's okay if you go, I guess. I would definitely not recommend building a base here. But anyway, it's time to go back to Modra and see what we do next. So after a little maintenance work and another level in fishing, I think I want to go check out the rail yard. Because again, I've never been there. So I left the next morning and the drive there was really easy. Like there are not that many cars on the road, no groups of zombies to go through. But when I actually got to the place, I realized that this wouldn't just be a nice trip. This place has a lot of zombies. I just hope that there's some good loot in here or vehicles we can use. And just as I say that, I ran into this truck, which is not bad, plus a bunch more trailers. The next day, I basically try to find as many zombies as possible just to clear this place, and then I'm gonna start loading. I slept by a zombie corpse by accident, and I got nauseous overnight, so I'm definitely not going back there today. And since there's nothing else to do here, I guess I'm going home. I got on the van the next day and headed back to the train yard. I finally found a container from the containers mod, and it's like nothing special, but I've been using this mod for a long time and I've never found one. I decided to go to the warehouse that's outside of the fence, and to be honest, there's nothing here, just a truck and a couple trailers. So I went back to the train yard and started looting there. And again, nothing really interesting. By the end of the day, I had gone through all of the places I could, so I just took the cars back home, and tomorrow we can do something else. And what I decided to do is go pick up the trailer for the semi-truck and go through all of the warehouses in Modra and get everything we might need to finish the main base. Now that we've entered November, it gets really hard to catch any fish. So it's important to do the fishing in the best hours, which are from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. But besides that, today was just more of going to warehouses and storage units just to loot what we need. I did some more of that the next day, but now we're finished here. And tomorrow we can start moving all of this back to base. And that's exactly what I did. Once I got there, I immediately started unloading the trailer, and I did that for the whole day. And the next day as well. But now we're done. It's so much better to have a place for everything, because this way I don't really have to throw anything on the ground. After I parked the truck, I started working on the parking lot of the base, and the gravel I got was almost enough to finish. Now what I want to do is work on the parking space for the trailers. And I ran out of concrete again. At least now it's almost done. The last thing I want to do is work on the main entrance road. And this too is almost done. Now I'm gonna go to the warehouse we cleared like on episode 2 I think, because I'm pretty sure I didn't loot any of it, and it's a big warehouse. But it turns out that I didn't clear shit. This place is still full of zombies. And after a day of dealing with that, I had to sleep in the broom closet. On the next day, I basically looked at the cars here and cleared a few more stragglers. Then I started looting the warehouses, and soon enough, I was ready to go back home. Of course, then now that we have enough materials to finish the roads, this massive snowstorm hits and makes it impossible to see the ground. The only thing I can do is the parking lot with the gravel, but besides that, we just have to wait for the snow to melt. And while we wait on that, I'm gonna go get some of the cars and trucks we found. The first one is the US storage truck in Modra. Now the other truck we found in the parking lot of one of the warehouses. And when we got back to base, there was a zombie waiting for me there. I think this is like the first one here in 300 days. But now lastly, the van and the sports car we went to Modra with. And to be honest, I'm not sure what to do for the last 5 days. So I was looking around and decided to do some work on the wooden house we started building last episode. And after only 2 days, I did everything I could with the materials I have. And I also built a temporary place for the books in the house. And since there's nothing to do here, I'm gonna start preparing for the next episode. The first thing is repairing the cars. The van is pretty much in the same condition, but the sports car not so much. Now I've installed a tire chain to it, so hopefully it'll help. The next morning, a heli dropped another supply box in our backyard, and this one had like medical supplies in it. I used the rest of the day to organize the items we might need, and at night I went over to the gas station to gas up the cars. Now on the last day, I'm gonna do something different from the other episodes. Let's get on the road again. This next place is really nice, but I'm only gonna show it to you in the next video. And that's it, 500 days. We're officially on the halfway mark. It's been a hell of a journey so far, and I really hope we can make it to 1000. See ya!